First, live, local. The 5 o'clock news starts now on Fox 12 Oregon.
It's been happening everywhere. I've always kind of felt like eventually it was going to happen here too. So, I don't know. I wasn't surprised, I was just scared.
A heartbreaking scene. 9 students and 1 teacher dead, another 10 hurt in Santa Fe, Texas, south of Houston. Tonight, a teenager is in custody along with a possible accomplice. Authorities say the 17-year-old suspect who is in custody used a semi-automatic pistol and a sawed-off shotgun. He also had a variety of homemade explosives in his car and at the school.
This unfolded southeast of Houston, while here in our area, a scary ordeal at Lebanon High, where police got a report that someone inside the school may have had a gun. Authorities were quick to say this was not an active shooter situation. Tonight, a suspect has been caught and parents have been able to pick up their children. Good evening. Welcome to the 5 o'clock news. I'm Elizabeth Dinn.
And I'm Pete Ferryman. We'll have more on the Lebanon school lockdown in just a moment. But first, let's get right to Fox 12's Nora Hart, who has more on that heartbreaking situation that unfolded in Texas today.
Well, this investigation is still at its very beginning stages, you guys, but tonight we can tell you the 17-year-old suspect in today's school shooting in Texas is currently being held without bond on capital murder charges and for assaulting a public servant. In fact, he just made his first court appearance tonight. Just minutes ago, he didn't say much other than he wants a court-appointed attorney, but many questions remain about who he is and why he chose to open fire. This as the community is left in shock.
I was scared for my life. Nobody should go through this. Nobody should be able to feel that in school.
Officials say that 9 students and 1 teacher are dead after 17-year-old Dimitrios Pagorchis allegedly walked into an art class at Santa Fe High School in Harris County, Texas, and opened fire.
Several more shots. He's actually shooting. He's in the art room. We got shots fired right now, guys. We need all of you.
Witnesses describe running from the school when they heard gunshots.
A teacher was telling us to go, 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 and then, you know, it's like instinct. You're scared, you're traumatized, so you're running as fast as you can.
Officials say explosive devices were also found at the school and in surrounding areas, and they warn locals to be on the lookout for any other suspicious devices.
One was a CO2 device. Another was a Molotov cocktail. And there are various other types of explosive devices that have been identified both in a home as well as in a vehicle.
More than a dozen other people were hurt, including at least 1 person who's still in critical condition. President Trump saying the federal government will be involved.
My administration is determined to do everything in our power to protect our students, secure our schools, and to keep weapons out of the hands of those who pose a threat to themselves and to others.
Meantime, we are learning some new information about the accused shooter. CNN was able to confirm before Facebook removed his account that Pagorchis says he started attending the high school 3 years ago. He posted pictures of himself showing what appears to be a normal high school student. But then on April 30th, less than a month ago, he also posted this, a custom black t-shirt that says, "Born to Kill." Indications are the shooter may have been wearing that t-shirt when he went to the school this morning. Another post shows a black duster jacket with Nazi, communist, fascist, and religious symbols. On his Facebook page, he showed some interest in joining the U.S. Marine Corps. He was mentioned as a standout player on the school's JV football team a few years back, but so far, no explanation for why he would have done this. Investigators say another student, an 18-year-old possible accomplice who is not a shooter, is also in custody tonight. We're still waiting to learn more about the victims in this tragedy. We'll, of course, keep you posted as information comes in. Live in studio, Nora Hart, Fox 12 Oregon.
Nora, thank you. A local school had a scare this morning. No one was hurt, but a report of a student with a gun at Lebanon High School put all schools in the area on lockdown.
Fox 12's Haley Rush is live at the high school now, and Haley, is a suspect in custody?
Yes, a suspect is in custody, and like you said, no one was hurt, but they say the area is safe now after they located that suspect outside of the school. Now, it's calm now, but earlier today, parents swarmed here and they lined up at the doors so that they could pick up their students and take them home. Parents rushed to Lebanon High School this morning, lining up outside the school.
He just was really frightened and thinking, oh no.
The reason? Reports of a student with a gun.
It was scary at first because I was watching the news on the Texas shooting, and then I got a text from her saying, Mom, please pray, we have a shooter.
While there wasn't a shooter, we're told the school went into lockdown just before 10 this morning after police say a student reported seeing another student with a handgun. First responders rushed to the high school, and other schools in the area were placed on lockdown too.
Just all the windows shut, doors locked, lights off.
Students say the lockdown lasted about 2 hours.
Scary day.
It's nerve-wracking, definitely.
I think it was a pretty traumatizing feeling for everybody.
We are now exiting lockdown and initiating lockout.
The lockdown was eventually lifted after police say they located the suspect outside of the school. They haven't said if the suspect was armed or released a name or age. But when superintendent of the district, Robert Hess, was asked if it was a student and if the student had a gun, he said this.
We believe that to be the case.
Parents continued to pick up their kids all through the afternoon.
And everyone's shaking and scared.
Scared, but thankful everyone is okay.
Very emotional day. I'm just glad that I've got both my babies back with me, and definitely gonna hug them a lot this weekend.
Kids told me they have lockdown drills here regularly, so while they were scared, they knew what to do inside their classroom. Now, no word yet if the suspect will face any charges. Reporting live in Lebanon, Haley Rush, Fox 12 Oregon.
Well, it can be difficult to talk to your children about these types of situations. As part of Fox 12's Better Together initiative addressing the mental wellness of kids and teens, I talked to a local school resource officer who works on the front lines to prevent school violence.
We hear all these incidents and the tragedies that happen, you know, at Parkland and now in Texas. And we want to look at guns and mental health and violence. And yes, all those are elements that play into that. But that's not all. It goes deeper than that.
Coming up, Beaverton School District's Public Safety Director, Rick Puente, gives us some tips on how to talk with our kids about these events and talks about why the school violence problem is much more complicated than many people think. Stay with Fox 12 as we follow the latest in Texas and in Lebanon.
We are following breaking news out of Milwaukee where police and the SWAT team are in a standoff with a man who is inside an apartment.
Fox 12's Brenna Kelly is at the scene. Brenna?
Well, we're currently on Southeast 26th and Harrison here while police are dealing with a very active SWAT situation. They responded to a welfare check call at about 12:30 this afternoon. The call came from family and friends of a man who lives at the Crystal Lake Apartments here. They say that man is making threats to hurt himself and other people, including law enforcement here. I'm told police have spoken to the man by phone, and he continues to make threatening statements. Now we're going to show you some Air 12 video live. Air 12 has been above the scene today. Milwaukee police have been here since around 12:30, and the Clackamas County SWAT team arrived around 2 o'clock, I'm told. We're at one of the entrances right now here to the Crystal Lake Apartments. Police are not letting anyone inside, and they're also not letting anyone out of their apartments, especially around that very active area right now. They say that they do know the identity of the man, but they are not releasing that just yet. They also tell us that there is no threat to the public at this time. Reporting live in Milwaukee tonight, Brenna Kelly, Fox 12 Oregon.
It's just, you know, a little bit dangerous. After a hard day of work, it's nice to look back and say, like, there's a gorgeous trail behind us.
While we might be saddened when we see fire scars on the slopes, bear in mind that the natural system, that fire is part of it, and it has the ability to regenerate itself.
The devastating Eagle Creek fire burned more than 49,000 acres and forced the closure of dozens of popular hiking trails.
But there is some great news we can share. Some trails reopened today for the first time. Fox 12 John Hendricks is in Cascade Lodge tonight after walking those trails. John?
Hey, well, guys, those who headed out to the Starvation Creek area today say they felt pretty lucky, like they had found a hidden gem. The trails there opened after months when that fire came roaring through. Like pieces to a puzzle.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
The Columbia River Gorge is slowly, bit by bit, returning to how it once was before the Eagle Creek fire.
I guess I'm pretty lucky that I showed up and it was all open.
Friday morning, several trails on the east end of the burn scar reopened.
The hike was pretty easy today.
Matt Coburn was one of many out enjoying the area around Starvation Creek where the fire had done some damage.
It's really too bad that it affected so much of something that's so close and that is really near and dear to our hearts.
Thank you. Ellen Harris and her friends who were visiting from all over the world also stopped here today.
We figured this would be, you know, kind of a hidden gem that not everybody knows to come to yet.
They were tipped off at Vista House that Starvation Creek was the place to be.
She grabbed us before we left and said, oh, there's a place you need to come to. It just opened this morning, Starvation Creek, and there's 3 waterfalls that you need to take a look at.
Everything is so beautiful.
The Forest Service says the trailhead opening gives access to Starvation Ridge and Mount Defiance trails. Warning signs have been posted for hikers to be on the lookout for hazards.
We're really excited to go take a hike.
Back at the trailhead, there is quite a bit of excitement as all the pieces come together. Soon this picture-perfect part of Oregon will be whole once again.
We're really happy to be back here with, you know, enjoying what is obviously glorious.
Now, there were some other smaller trails into the Mount Hood National Forest, into those lakes up around the mountain that also reopened today. For a full list of those trails that are open, head on over to kptv.com. Reporting live from Cascade Locks, John Hendricks, Fox 12 Oregon.
John, thanks. Meanwhile, a Hood River judge is expected to make a decision within a week about just how much money the teen who started the fire must pay. The state of Oregon submitted 11 separate claims for restitution, totaling more than $36 million. His attorney agrees the teen should pay back some money, but called the state's request, quote, absurd. The teen is serving 5 years probation and has to do more than 1,900 hours in community service.
The 5 o'clock news is just getting started.
A suspect shot and killed by local police. What brought out investigators in the first place?
A plane carrying at least 110 people crashes down in Cuba. What we are learning about the horrific scene.
And we're starting to see some sun breaks across downtown Portland right now, and over on the west side, 68 degrees is our temperature. That's our high so far. I have some much warmer days ahead in my 7-day forecast. Stick around. I'll have that for you coming up.
Gresham police shot and killed a man early this morning after they say he threatened officers with a weapon.
Let's get to Fox 12's Marcia Martinez. She joins us live now in studio with the latest on this investigation. Marcia.
Well, investigators were on that scene for hours this morning at Southwest Pleasant View Drive in Highland and Gresham. Gresham police say this all started with a call about a suspicious car. They tell us just after midnight they got that call about the suspicious car at Southwest 190th and Butler. That's just 1 mile from where the shooting occurred. Gresham officers responded and found a dark-colored SUV and say it then took off. They didn't chase it and later got word the SUV crashed on Southwest Pleasant View Drive. As police approached the wreck, they say the driver threatened them with a weapon, and that's when 2 Gresham officers opened fire, killing the driver. Investigators have not released what kind of weapon the suspect had on him at the time or his name. Neighboring streets were closed for more than 12 hours while detectives processed evidence, but those roads have since been reopened. Right now, investigators are also looking to speak to anyone who may have witnessed the shooting and what led up to it as part of their investigation. In studio, Marcia Martinez, Fox 12 Oregon.
A Cuban-operated plane crashed just after takeoff this morning. It's believed more than 100 people have been killed. A Boeing 737 went down a short distance from the end of the runway at the International Airport in Havana. It was meant to be a short hop flight to an eastern Cuban city, but shortly after takeoff, witnesses say the jet veered sharply to the left and crashed. Officials say the plane was engulfed in flames with at least 110 people on board. Cuban media is reporting that there are just 3 survivors who are in critical condition. The cause of the crash remains under investigation.
New video shows fountains of lava bursting from the ground in Hawaii. There are now 22 fissures on the Big Island near the Kilauea volcano. Yesterday, an explosion shot ash and debris 30,000 feet up in the air, but the area is still on red alert, and even bigger blasts could be in store. And it's not just lava causing concern. You see, state officials are handing out nearly 20,000 masks to people because of the dangerous chemicals that are being being released into the air. And here's a better picture of just how much damage this volcano has caused in the past 2 weeks. You see that before and after images of the Leilani estates, and you can see the lava and ash has really left much of this area of the island very charred and scarred. And on this day, 38 years ago, Mount St. Helens erupted. 57 people were killed. Since then, there have been some small steam and ash explosions, even underground earthquakes. The volcano is the most active in the Cascade Range.
All right, Fox 12 meteorologist Brian McMillan is here now with a look at our forecast.
And
Hi,
a quick
Brian.
St. Helens story. I got to
Yeah.
hike Mount St. Helens back in, I think it was 2006 or so, right after it was burping and it was... They opened it back up. We got up there on the rim of the volcano, and there was an earthquake up there.
Wow.
And then it started steaming.
While you were there?
While we were there. While we were standing looking down.
Was your heart racing? Just
Oh, yeah. We started running down the side
goodness.
of the mountain like that would do anything.
Puts things in perspective, doesn't it? Yeah.
But then we got back up, took a bunch of pictures. Yeah, pretty cool stuff.
Wow.
Anyway, let's talk about Mount St. Helens really quick here. Of course, that erupted in 1980. 57 people were killed. They had a lot of warning, but a lot of people didn't want to leave their homes, and most of those folks that lived on the mountain were killed. 1,300 feet of the mountain blew off, and that's why it looks the way it does right now. Volcanic ash surged 80,000 feet up into the atmosphere. That was a very powerful volcano. Here's a look at our volcano. Kind of covered up with a few clouds there. 56 degrees. Out at Mount Hood Adventure Park at Ski Bowl Skycam. And we're at 68 right now in Portland. The coast in the mid to upper 50s, east of the Cascades. You guys made it into the 70s today. And we're still kind of dealing with this thick marine layer that's been hanging in here most of the day today. We are still seeing a little bit of clearing down in Salem this afternoon. I would just call them sun breaks here in the valley. The coast, you've been socked in all day, and you'll continue to be that way here through the night tonight. So let's get to your forecast here as we head through the night tonight. Oh boy, here come the clouds again. They'll make their way all the way up to the mountains as well. You folks on the east side of the Cascades are going to wake up to partly cloudy skies. And then we'll see the sunshine again tomorrow afternoon. We get another shot at this. Sunday, same story. We're used to this pattern by now, aren't we? Morning clouds, afternoon sunshine. There is a chance both days, Saturday and Sunday, of getting a little bit of drizzle in the morning hours. Once we get into Monday, you can see some thunderstorms popping up over on the east side of the Cascades. So here's your forecast. Let's head out to the 3 o'clock hour. Then we're already into the 70s. By the 6 o'clock hour, we're into the mid-70s. So tomorrow's going to be warmer, and then we cool off just a bit here for Sunday before things really start to heat up again. Check out Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Lots of sunshine all 3 of those days. We're into the mid-80s here for Tuesday and Wednesday. Cool off just a bit there for Thursday, Friday. We're back into the 80s. And Pete and Liz, this is a very unusual forecast considering we've been mainly dry here the past couple of weeks. I still don't have any soaking rain in my 7-day forecast.
Wow, that does seem kind of different though. Yeah, Brian, thank you. Police are asking for your help finding a missing 12-year-old girl in Gresham. Take a look at her picture here. Her name, Jordance Willis. Police say she was last seen near Northwest Division Street and Northwest Birdsdale Avenue at around 8:30 last night. She was last seen wearing a blue shirt and black leggings.
Well, caught on camera, someone kicks in a door at a local home. Hear from frustrated neighbors who say this is not the first time something like this has happened.
It's happening across the pond, but a lot of people here sure are excited. We're just hours away from the royal wedding. Ahead, a look at how the bride and groom spent their last day being single.
Less than 12 hours to go. Liz, I know you're excited. We're getting much closer to that magical moment, the royal wedding between Prince Harry and American actress Meghan Markle.
But you know, there still is speculation on who got one of the 600 invitations. Unfortunately, we didn't, we know, but neither did any world leaders, because not even British Prime Minister Theresa May, but Sir Elton John is expected to perform.
For Fox 12, Amy Kellogg is there with new details just released today.
One of the last remaining wedding questions has been answered. It has been confirmed Prince Charles will walk Meghan Markle down the aisle, stepping in for her father, who had to pull out earlier this week due to health problems.
Maybe she wanted a father figure to walk her down the aisle, and, you know, the mum must have given her blessing.
Amidst all the preparations, there's still some getting to know you going on. This afternoon, Meghan Markle's mother took tea with Queen Elizabeth, meeting her for the first time, and Prince Harry got to know some of his many, many well-wishers. The groom, along with best man and older brother William, was seen mingling with crowds outside Windsor Castle today.
You know, you see them from growing up when they're little, and then there they are. It's amazing.
Well-wishers urge Harry and Meghan to look past all the pomp and circumstance and remember why they're getting married.
Just love each other, put everything else aside, and know that you found each other, and that's all that matters.
Enjoy each other, have fun, and ignore all the chaos around you. Just enjoy each other.
Per tradition, the bride and groom are spending the night in separate hotels, just a few miles apart from one another. And Prince Harry's expected to arrive at St. George's Chapel around about 11:30 tomorrow morning. The bride herself just a minute before noon. In Windsor, England, Amy Kellogg, Fox News.
All right, if you're planning to tune in nice and early, you and millions around the world are expected to be glued to that lavish ceremony. We get it, Pete, you might not sleep, I know. So you can watch it right here on Fox 12. Coverage starts in about 10 hours at 3:30 tomorrow morning, again, right here on Fox 12.
Clear my overnight calendar, absolutely. We'll have a full coverage, of course, this weekend on it as well. Meanwhile, still to come tonight, a disturbing trend. Police say Fox 12's Most Wanted kicked in the door to a local home, and it's happened to several neighbors. Hear from that homeowner who caught it all on video.
And the second season of the popular Netflix series 13 Reasons Why is out. Parents, we've got an important message and some really great tips for you, as a lot of kids are going to be watching this highly controversial show.
We're following some breaking news out of Milwaukee right now. Police and a SWAT team are in an active standoff at an apartment on Southeast 26th and Harrison. Police say that family and friends of a man who live at the Crystal Lake Apartments called in at about 12:30, concerned about him. Investigators say that man is making threats to hurt himself and other people, including law enforcement. Police say they do know who the man is, but they're not releasing his name at this time. They also tell us there is no threat to the public right now. We'll keep you updated on the situation.
I was scared for my life.
A teacher was telling us to go, 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 and then, you know, it's like instinct. You're scared, you're traumatized, so you're running as fast as you can.
Terrifying moments during this morning's deadly school shooting. 9 students and 1 teacher were killed. Another 10 are hurt in Santa Fe, Texas. That's close to Houston. The 17-year-old suspect is in custody, and so is a possible accomplice. According to U.S. Senator John Cornyn, the shooter used a semi-automatic pistol and sawed-off shotgun. He also had a variety of homemade explosives in his car and at the school.
This unfolded while here in our area, a scary ordeal at Lebanon High School, where police received a report that someone inside the school may have had a gun, had parents on edge. Lebanon police have just told us that 3 kids were passing around a single handgun inside the high school. That's a new development. Police say the handgun was stolen, and the 3 juveniles were taken into custody. They now face charges including possession of a firearm, theft, disorderly conduct, and hindering prosecution. Authorities were quick to say that this was not an active shooter investigation, but it did put all schools in the area on lockdown.
And earlier today, as part of Fox 12's Better Together initiative, we spoke with a local school resource officer who works on the front lines to prevent school violence.
Yeah, Rick Puente has decades of experience in law enforcement and now works as the director of public safety for Beaverton schools. He says when it comes to school violence, there are no easy answers. But he says if we ever want to truly make a difference, he says we'll need to put our differences aside and come together as a community. Let's talk about practical steps.
Sure.
You got a lot of people who are at home tonight with their kids. They're concerned. They've seen yet another school shooting. What can you tell them to assure them that steps are being taken to make their kids safe?
Well, I think that, first of all, it's very important that we as parents reassure our children that not only them, but our local school districts are doing everything we can to assure their safety when they're at school. That, I think, is the first step, because the first impact that we see through this is fear. Fear grips us all to say, oh my God, not another one. Oh my God, can it happen here? You know, and we start to go back to that position. And so I think it's important that we as parents step up as the leaders of our home to say, kids, it's going to be okay. You know, cry with them, talk with them, hug them, love them. We hear that all the time. I love your kids, hold them tight. Yes, please do. Let them know that you're there for them. I think that's the first and foremost step.
You are on the front lines at school working with kids directly, but if you could be, say, governor, and you had access to put the resources where they were needed, what specific changes would you make right now?
We go right off the bat to say, oh, more police in our schools. Yeah, that's one answer. Is it the answer? No, I think the answer is a collaborative approach.
Do you think that it's easier for people just to point to one thing to blame and then feel better about it somehow?
Yeah. Oh yeah, because when we hear it's guns, it's mental health, and I start to hear people just focus on one thing. I struggle with that because it's like, come on, folks, we know better. We hear all these incidents and the tragedies that happen, at Parkland and now in Texas, and we want to look at guns and mental health and violence, and yes, all those are elements that play into that, but that's not all. It goes deeper than that. Is it more police officers? Yeah, that's part of it. Is it parent involvement? Yes. Is it student accountability? Yes. Is it understanding that, choices bring consequences? Yes. I mean, so there's a lot of dynamics. It leads me back to, in communication, there's understanding. We got to be people that talk. We get focused on one issue. Okay. When you focus on one thing, you lose sight of everything else that impacts that. And I'm more of be slow to speak, quick to listen. Take a real look, clear look of what is the issue at hand, and make a wise choice, not just a reactive choice.
Unfortunately, of course, Oregon has seen its share of school shootings, including Umpqua Community College in 2015 and Reynolds High School in 2014. Monday marks the 20th anniversary of the deadly shooting at Thurston High School in Springfield. 2 students were killed and 25 others were hurt when a suspended student opened fire in a hallway and cafeteria. Kip Kickle was sentenced to more than 100 years in prison without the possibility of parole. Coming up this Monday, join us here on the 5 o'clock news for a special report as we talk to a survivor as well as a nurse who was working in the ER during that time.
And we know at times like this, we are all wondering, how can we help kids? How can we start having what some see as tough conversations? Also, as part of our new campaign, Better Together, we here at Fox 12 are also taking a look at the impact of a controversial Netflix series. The second season of 13 Reasons Why dropped overnight, and in this season, there is a school shooting. The show is about teen bullying and suicide. The second season was released today, but Netflix decided to cancel today's red carpet premiere. There are some parents who are worried about how to talk to their kids about this show. Well, we spoke with a volunteer at a local youth crisis hotline, as well as a psychologist who says it is so important to talk about tough subjects with your kids.
Those who might be in a more risky situation or a frame of mind, it definitely could be a lot more intense for them.
One of the things I think this season will have to deal with is, do they go too far when they start addressing, not only do we have suicides, but we've got school shootings and rape and sexual assault, and at some point you become a slasher movie and it becomes a parody.
Dr. Henderson also says more than 80 young people each month are seen at St. Vincent's for suicidal thoughts. She says the numbers are rapidly increasing, as that's 200 more young people than last year. And you can access resources, including tips about how to talk with your children about difficult issues. That's all at kptv.com/bettertogether.
Well, we've seen thieves bust down doors to steal things, but what about kicking in doors just for the fun of it? Well, surveillance video shows a person doing just that in a Gresham neighborhood.
And we've learned this is not the only time it's happened. Fox 12's Kendra Kent spoke to 3 frustrated neighbors who are now hoping police can track down Fox 12's most wanted.
Someone in Gresham is practicing high kicks with malicious intentions. You can't see it from this angle, but the homeowner tells us the door was kicked in and the frame busted. The suspect doesn't run inside, but back to a waiting car that speeds away. And as bizarre as it seems,
it came
down, just flat down. And it took all the trim with it.
There's plenty of frustrated neighbors in southeast and southwest Gresham.
Right there, big old footprint.
Police told us they're investigating all 3 cases. The crimes took place within just a few miles of each other. All the neighbors we spoke with described the same stories.
We were all woken up to a loud bang, like a thud, huge bang.
And as I looked down the street, I just saw a red tail light.
Now left with expensive repairs.
It's too bad because, you know, I worked hard for this place.
Not to mention the anxiety that my kids are going through. Can't sleep the next few nights.
Neighbors say they have a theory.
I chalked it up to some young punk thinking it was funny.
But none of them are laughing.
A dumb game to be playing because they could get hurt real bad if someone really catches them.
And that was Kendra Kent reporting. Police have identified a suspect in one of the cases, but haven't arrested that person yet. Investigators also haven't said whether they believe the 3 cases are connected. A truck collided with a cyclist this afternoon, and this was in downtown Portland. It happened just after 2:30, right at the corner of Northwest Hoyt and Broadway. Police tell us an adult cyclist was hit by a truck and taken to the hospital. Thankfully, police believe that cyclist will be okay.
2 burglary suspects in Cornelius were caught trying to steal expensive generators from a sporting goods store in the middle of the night. An alarm tipped off deputies to catch the thieves just in time. This is some surveillance video from the Coastal Farm and Ranch store at Baseline Street. You can see a pickup truck driving in and the suspects loading up. Just before 3:30 this morning, deputies arrived and spotted the pickup leaving the parking lot. They stopped the pickup, and in the back they found 5 new Honda generators along with a mask, gloves, and a keychain full of dozens of keys. The truck had also been reported stolen. Kenny Ross and Curtis Veazey were arrested for theft, burglary, and other charges. Deputies say that they were using a cell phone app to monitor police scanner traffic. A 3rd person was also seen on surveillance video, but was gone by the time deputies arrived. A 27-year-old Beaverton man is behind bars accused of peeping in on 2 women. Beaverton police say both victims reported seeing this man, Diego Lopez Herrera, looking into a window. The first happened on Southwest Electric Street on April 7th. The second happened Tuesday on Southwest Alice Lane. Lopez Herrera was taken to jail and charged with invasion of privacy in both cases. Police believe there could be more victims.
Tomorrow marks 1 year since Fox 12's Most Wanted killed a man outside a Beaverton strip club. Tonight, his mother is pleading for justice. Ramon Harris was shot to death outside the Expose Club on Southwest Canyon Road. That shooting caused a chaotic scene at that packed club. Deputies say potential witnesses then left before officers got there. We spoke with the victim's mom today, who says Harris left behind a 7-year-old son. She's hopeful someone with information will come forward.
Then they need to come forward and be done with this. I need peace. His son needs peace. His family needs peace. There was too many people there. So that's what I'm praying for.
Crime Stoppers is offering a reward of up to $2,500 for information in the case. And remember, you can remain anonymous.
Well, more than a dozen people are without a home tonight after a fire broke out at an apartment in Beaverton. It happened on Southwest Larch Place just after 11 o'clock this morning. Flames went from one unit's living room to the front porch. Firefighters got everyone out safely and no one was hurt. Crews had to tackle a few hot spots. The cause of the fire is under investigation. The Red Cross is helping people who cannot return to their homes.
Straight ahead on the 5 o'clock news, she's been at the center of the national political scene.
But tonight, Stormy Daniels' performance at a local club is drawing a lot of attention. The dramatic moments during last night's performance in Bend.
And take a look at your high temperatures today. We made it into the 70s here in Salem and Eugene. Out along the coastline, temperatures were in the 50s east of the Cascades. Hey, we made it into the 70s over there as well. We'll talk about what you can expect here as we roll into your weekend. That's coming up.
It's been a mystery in the Northwest for decades, but now a publishing company claims it has identified a man accused of hijacking a plane and getting away with $200,000 in ransom money more than 45 years ago. Yesterday, Principia Media said the hijacker, known as D.B. Cooper, was former military paratrooper and intelligence operative Walter R. Recca. The company said it worked with Recca's best friend to gather evidence, including an audio recording of him speaking about the heist. The publisher didn't say if Recca was still alive, but an obituary online said a man with the same name died in 2004 at the age of 80. The woman in national spotlight for an alleged affair with President Trump is now in Oregon. Stormy Daniels is set to perform for the second night, this time in Salem.
Fox 12's Sarah Hurwitz is live in Salem, where the performer is expected to perform at Stars Cabaret tonight with, I guess, what type of a turnout are they expecting there, Haley?
Well, guys, there is expected to be a lot of people. The general manager does tell me that Stormy Daniels is expected to arrive sometime after 9:30 tonight. She will perform twice, and they're expecting about 200 people. That is nearing capacity, and we should start seeing people come through the doors here in about an hour or so. Now, well, Daniels has been in the spotlight for a while. She gained attention most recently for her alleged sexual encounter with President Donald Trump in 2006. She says she was threatened to keep silent in 2011. Her lawsuit claims that she was paid $130,000 to keep silent, but last night on her tour, more than 100 people showed up in Bend to see Daniels perform at the Stars Cabaret there, and she had to stop her show after Bend police tell us that someone threw a wallet at her face. That stopped her show, like I've said, but she did not press charges. Now, we did speak with the general manager just a couple of minutes ago, who says that they've never had anything like this on such a national level.
Now, this is a whole new world. I actually, Stormy was here about 8 years ago. I worked with her then, but at a much different level, media-wise, of what we have going on today. We have some people that are coming in because they are supporting her on a political level, and we have some people that are coming out that are against her at a political level. So it should be an interesting evening.
And again, we will be working to talk to folks on both sides. A lot of people expected to show up tonight. Daniels expected to show up sometime after 9:30, and we will have continuing coverage at 10 o'clock. Live in Salem, Sarah Hurwitz, Fox 12 Oregon.
We're seeing some minor flooding along the Columbia River as it continues to hover around flood stage. This is video from Air 12 this morning showing us Chinook Landing Marine Park in Fairview. You can see some minor flooding there. We even spotted a flooded road and a family of ducks swimming on it. The National Weather Service says the Columbia is expected to stay at minor flood stage for a couple of days.
All right, let's get to Brian McMillan, who is watching this, and you have been for days now. What's the latest?
It's just kind of, you know, it's hovering right around 16 feet, and 16 feet is that minor flood stage. So we're going to hang out there, like you said, for another couple of days, and then things should finally recede a little bit. So again, we're at 16 feet. I just checked the latest numbers, and that is right at that minor flood stage. This is normal for May. It is flooding some of the area trails around the Columbia River, but overall not a huge impact to Portlanders. 68 degrees is our temp right now. We made it to 69 degrees for a high today. And a live look at Providence Park, because we got ourselves a Timbers match tomorrow at noon versus LAFC. It should be a nice, comfortable game. Skies are going to start to clear there, probably in the middle part of the match. 71 will be our temperature by the time things are all wrapped up. So looking ahead, the big picture is a mainly dry May is going to continue. It has been an exceptionally dry May here, and we're going to see those that rain kind of hold off all week long. Saturday, the clouds are going to break up in the afternoon. It's going to feel very familiar to what we had today. Temps are going to be into the mid-70s, low to mid-70s around the metro area. And then next week, we're really heating up. We get those clouds out of here, and we're going to be bringing back the sunshine. Temperatures right now here around the metro area are in the mid to upper 60s across the board. We're at 64 right now in Forest Grove. Over on the east side, Troutdale is the warm spot at 70 degrees. All right, let's get to your forecast out along the coastline. Mainly cloudy with a few afternoon and evening sun breaks, but if it's anything like today, you're really not going to see much sun. 59 out there in Lincoln City and Newport. We'll make it to 63 out in Tillamook. That'll be one of the warmer spots on the coast. Here in the valleys, morning clouds, afternoon sun breaks, and by the time we hit the early evening hours, we should be looking at a lot of sunshine. Temps will be warmer tomorrow, about 5 degrees warmer than today. making it into the mid-70s. As we head over to the Gorge, partly cloudy. We have a chance for a shower off to the east. Up on Mount Hood, partly cloudy. A chance for a thunderstorm up there. Temps in the 60s at Government Camp will be in the 50s at Meadows and Timberline, and Welch is hitting 70. East of the Cascades, yeah, once again, another chance for a thunderstorm to pop up, especially on the far east side of the state out towards LeGrand and Baker City. We'll be comfortable in Madras at 72, Pendleton at 74. All right, here's a breakdown of your day tomorrow. We're starting off cloudy once again. By noon, we should be still cloudy, but those clouds will start to break up in the afternoon hours. And you can see, yes, we are warming up. Low to mid 70s for highs here around the metro area. And if you want those warmer temperatures, if you want more sunshine, I got that for you too. The one thing I really don't have for you is rain here in my 7-day forecast. So what you're going to need to do is still water those the lawns and still water the plants as well out in your yard because they'll need it. Pete and Liz.
All right, Brian, thanks.
Straight ahead here on the 5 o'clock news, a teen's life is saved. The quick moves by people nearby after his leg was severed by a train. A teen lost his leg trying to hop on a moving train, but thanks to some quick-thinking people, his life was saved. Today, we've learned the 16-year-old boy is in fair condition. Wednesday night, police say he was trying to climb on board a slow-moving train near Washougal. His leg got caught, and he was pulled down. The train cut off his leg between his knee and ankle. People at a nearby baseball game rushed over to help, including a surgeon, as well as a man who made a tourniquet using his own belt. The first police officer on scene tells us the teamwork saved that teen's life.
These guys were 100% on it. They did everything correctly, and they stopped majority of the bleeding before I even got there. My tourniquet was, I think, kind of just the last step.
The teen was taken to the hospital and is okay. However, his leg could not be reattached, although Officer Hanley says it could have been much worse.
Homeowners in Salem have some words of warning for anyone looking for a contractor. Do your homework. Raquel White says that she found a contracting company online and says she put a $2,300 deposit down after someone gave her a quote in September. But as the weeks went on, no work was getting done. In February, White says she threatened to file a complaint with the Construction Contractors Bureau. She says the company then sent her a photo of the work that had been done off-site, and it was nothing like she had expected.
Looking at it, it's not going to fit through doorways. It won't fit through hallways, and it won't fit through the stairs. I expected more from a construction company. I was hoping for more.
Coming up on the 10 o'clock news, why she never got her money back or her money's worth, and the red flags she missed along the way.
Still ahead, Timbers in 30 is coming up at 6:30, and we're going to break down that crucial moment that was really contributing to the victory in the Timbers' 100th rivalry match with Seattle.
And coming up new at 6, the balancing act between federal law and legal marijuana in Oregon. Tonight, the U.S. Attorney for Oregon becomes the first to reveal a strategy.
You're watching the 6 o'clock news. First, live, local.